Most people were taught one relationship with money: earn it, spend less than you earn, save the rest. That's it. That's the entire financial education most of us received. And it's not wrong, exactly. It's just critically incomplete, because it treats money as something you trade your time for, instead of something that can work independently of your time. Rich people, genuinely wealthy people, not the Instagram kind, have a fundamentally different relationship with this. They don't just earn money, they deploy it. They put it somewhere that makes more money while they sleep, while they eat, while they do nothing at all. Their money has a job, and that job compounds. The person working the extra shift to cover the rent and the person who owns the building collecting rent from 10 apartments, they might both work the same hours in a week, but only one of them is building something that doesn't require those hours to keep growing. Now, before you roll your eyes and say, "Well, I don't have money to invest," that's exactly the trap. Because the truth is, the gap between working hard and building wealth isn't always about how much you earn. It's about what you understand about how money moves. And most of us were never taught that. Not in school. Not by our parents, who were also never taught. It's a generational knowledge gap that perpetuates itself beautifully for those who benefit from your confusion. Here's the scary part most productivity culture will never tell you. Time is not your most renewable resource. Everyone online talks about working harder, waking up earlier, optimizing your schedule, squeezing more out of every hour, and there's a version of that advice that's genuinely useful, but there's a ceiling, a hard biological ceiling. You have roughly 16 usable hours in a day. You can be brilliant and disciplined and relentless with those hours, and at the end of it, you've sold your time once, one time, to one employer, for one fixed rate. The wealthiest people in the world didn't get there by selling their time more efficiently. They got there by owning things that generated value whether they were present or not. Businesses, real estate, intellectual property, equity. The income from those things doesn't punch a clock. It doesn't call in sick. It doesn't need a vacation. It works while you do everything else. This is not about becoming a billionaire. This isn't a fantasy pitch. This is the fundamental economic distinction that separates financial freedom from financial survival, and nobody teaches it in school because schools were designed to produce workers, not owners. And modern life made this even worse, because we now live inside the most sophisticated consumption machine ever built. Every app on your phone, every ad in your feed, every influencer living a life that's 18% real and 82% set design, all of it is engineered to make you feel that your current life is insufficient and that the solution is purchasable. The car that would make you feel like you'd arrived, the vacation that proves you're living, the wardrobe that signals success to people who don't actually care about you, the restaurant, the watch, the renovation, the upgrade, every single one of them whispers the same message: "You're not enough yet, but we can fix that." For a price. And the cruelest part, most of what we buy to signal wealth actually prevents it. The lease on the car you couldn't afford to own outright. The designer item on a credit card that charges you 22% to own something that loses value the second you leave the store. We spend money to look rich, and looking rich keeps us poor. Not poor in character, poor in options. Poor in the kind of financial breathing room that actually changes how a life unfolds. This is where most people make a mistake that costs them a decade. They see the problem and they respond emotionally. They cut everything, go extreme, white-knuckle a budget for 3 months and then burn out and go back to where they started. Or they swing the other way, decide the system is rigged, give up entirely, spend freely because what's the point anyway? Neither of those is the move. The move, the quiet, unsexy, profoundly effective move, is changing your relationship with money at the level of belief before behavior. Because behavior follows belief, always. If you believe deep down that wealth is for other people, luckier people, better connected people, people who got a head start, then every good financial habit you try to build will be fighting upstream against that belief. And belief is stronger than discipline. The work isn't just financial, it's psychological. It's deciding, genuinely deciding, not just hoping, that your financial reality is something you can influence, not control completely, not overnight, but influence meaningfully over time with the right understanding. Here's what I want you to sit with.